the At Ease podcast, where our guests share their own professional experiences to help educate, mentor, and provide insight to our active duty and transitioning servicemen and women, as well as our veterans and those considering entering the military. My guest today is from D. What up, though?
What up, though?
What up, though?
From Detroit, Michigan, has served in the Navy for 23 years. He attended boot camp at RTC Great Lakes in October 2002. From there, he attended Med Specialist A School in 2003. When did they transition from MS to CS?
It was in 2004.
2004. Okay.
Yeah.
First duty station, VFA 34, NAS Oceana. He deployed aboard the USS Abe Lincoln. He advanced to second class in 2008 during the Abe Lincoln deployment. Is that your first deployment?
No, that was my third.
Third, okay.
Third
All right.
deployment.
In 2009, he then transferred to Naval Station Norfolk Brig as a receive and release supervisor. That's going to be interesting. I'm like, how does dude CS at the brig? I'm thinking you cooking or something.
Right, me too.
Yeah, we switched around.
Yeah, that's a strange one. And in 2012, he reported aboard the USS Arlington, LPD-24, and advanced to CS-1. Now he's starting to cook. December 2016, he transferred to Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickman as the LPO at the Silver Dolphin Bistro. Hawaii, good old time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, good time. In January 2019, he made his way back to Hampton Roads and was stationed aboard the USS Bataan and was selected to the rank of Chief Petty Officer. And during that tour in February 2023, he was selected as the Chief Warrant Officer. He's currently stationed at the Gator Inn Galley at Joint Expeditionary Base Fort Story, Little Creek for us Hampton Roads people. My guest, hey, thank you, man. Thank you, sir. Donald Banks III. Welcome to the At Ease podcast.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right, not a problem, man. Not a problem.
Yeah.
How's it, man? How's life, man?
Life's good. Life's good. I'm doing what I wanted to do from as a junior sailor. I made the choice to, that was a goal of mine to become a warrant officer as a CS2. So just been working at it, understanding what it is, getting good mentorship, guidance from pretty much anyone in the food service realm. And, they kind of molded me to get to where, to the point where I could be selected. So, hey, This is what you're looking for type thing.
Before we even get into all that, before we get to the professional, are you okay? Like, you're a Detroit fan.
Yeah, you good?
Oh, no, I'm hurt.
I'm
hurt. I was going to take a knee on the Super Bowl. I wasn't even going to watch it.
Yeah, but, I was going to leave that out of it. But,
we had to bring that in.
I was going to leave that out of it. But I shouldn't have because I just celebrated the parade yesterday.
Okay.
Great times.
Yes, sir.
And we was going to crush y'all, man. I'm just letting you know. It's okay. We was going to crush y'all. We wanted any and everyone.
Don't worry.
We'll see you again.
Yeah, no, we'll see you this season.
Yeah,
y'all on
we'll see you again.
I think y'all coming to see us.
Either way, we don't.
But
we'll walk there.
But
I'm
right
okay.
now, you're okay.
I'm okay.
That's
I'm good.
You needed to clear that up right
Because you was on that cloud, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's been a long time. Detroit look good though.
Mm-hmm.
They look real good. Injuries
Injury ridden for the defense. Offense, we could have made it with offense, but
right.
Defense,
Yeah.
We lost those major players with defense. It was it.
Yeah. So you are Detroit, like sports
all the way.
all the way.
Tigers, Pistons, everything.
Born and raised.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So since we're in Detroit, let's stay there for a minute, right? So how was it growing up in Detroit? What was the early pre-Navy life like for you?
Pre-Navy life. Well, Detroit is rough. And I didn't understand how rough it was until I actually left because I thought that was the norm for me. Okay. The norm of, seeing somebody getting arrested on the side, and just like right outside my neighborhood, they might be shooting a video and then it might be a real shooting across the street. You never know. Depending on the situation, I never felt like I was in danger though because it was the norm of my life. Then when I came to Virginia, it was like, it's a lot quiet out here. It's not, you don't always hear sirens. You don't always see things happening that's a norm to you. So for someone to say, oh, I'm from here, I kind of ask them, like, okay, well, what part? So
Yeah.
And you kind of know. Okay.
So you came in 02, right? So did you come in directly after high school or a few years waiting? How did that go?
Right after high school. So I actually signed up for the Navy homecoming night So I kind of just was just waiting.
Right. Homecoming night.
Homecoming night of my senior year, I went to MEPS. Like that next morning I went.
Okay.
The next morning.
I'm like, hold on.
Yeah. So that next morning I went to MEPS. I remember it. It was like I went to homecoming and I had to rush home, and I knew I was leaving early in the morning to go to MEPS. So I had already signed up to be in the Navy with, my parents' permission because they had to sign paperwork.
Right.
And so I technically was in the Navy just awaiting to leave DEP and actually go to boot camp. So I left boot camp in August. So right after July, I had probably a month and a half, 2 months. And then I went to boot camp.
Okay. So what made you join the Navy?
Initially, it was for school because I knew my mom, she couldn't afford to send me to college if she was paying for it. I could have probably got a scholarship, but I wanted to do it my own way. Right. And my own way is I knew I needed some structure. And I think the military definitely molded me as far as I had a good work ethic because I had a job and everything like that, but I needed structure. Absolutely. So for me, I said, you know what, this will be something I could do.
So what, and right there, like you leaving home, joining the military, what was that transition like?
Ooh.
Yeah, because you coming from the norm.
Right.
That's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
That was your norm.
That was my norm.
Now you coming into a new norm.
Mm-hmm.
So that transition, how was that? Because but that's your first time. Well, I guess you probably Detroit to Chicago. You still flew?
We did.
You did.
We did.
That's the first time catching a plane?
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
it wasn't my first time. It wasn't my first
kids or something, I guess.
But no, absolutely not. But I've been on a plane before, but that's a short flight. I've flow to go see family or something like that. But it wasn't. Being in a squadron, you fly a lot, so yeah.
Right. But I'm just thinking, like, for some of us, that was my first time being on the plane.
First time being on the plane. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how was that transition from going from that civilian to a service member?
It was tough because even now, I still kind of feel a way when someone tells me what to do.
Oh, really?
I still kind of do feel a way. But you got to understand, it's a reason why you have to change from what you were when you coming in the military. Because you saw you wanted to be a change. You wanted to change something in your life. So at that point, I knew I had to understand that I have to conform to this way of life because initially I wanted to change.
Right.
And one of the things that you and I have in common, you a twin, I'm a twin also, right? So what was it like, leaving your brother behind? My mom still blame me.
It was tough because that was one thing. That was, being a twin, y'all always together, regardless. Yeah. So I couldn't just pick up the phone and just call him or talk and, during the boot camp time. But then, as I left boot camp and everything, we had a connection where we would call and talk to each other, maybe FaceTime or something like that. And then, so it was okay. But we were living two different lives.
Yeah, that was my question. Like, how did he feel about? Did y'all have that conversation about you joining the military and leaving?
Oh, he was mad. He even told me.
Really?
He told me that he was upset that I left him. Because that was my goal. It was either school or the military for me. So I was gonna leave one way. I knew I needed to get out the city. Wow. At least for me.
Right.
I wish he would have went with me, but yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was about to say, right? Did he think about joining? All right. Okay. All right. So you join the Navy, come in, boot camp, go to MS, A school.
Mm-hmm.
Once you learned what the A school was about, once you got in, did you say, well, Dad, did I make the right choice about being an MS? Did I know that? Because, we think about it now. It's like, oh, you got to go down to the mess decks and crank.
Right.
Me going in boot camp, and they sent me to the galley. For my service week.
Okay.
I said, oh, no, I never want to do that. That's too much.
So
it's too much. That's a lot of work.
A lot of my family members are cooks. Like my dad was a cook. My uncle, right now he's a cook. And I didn't have an issue with cooking, but of course it's going to be a grand scheme way different in the military.
Yeah.
But I really picked up culinary because of my father, because of my uncle, because of my other family members. It was just a passion of theirs, and I was like, that's what I'm going to do. Initially, I came in the Navy. I was going to be undesignated fireman. I was going into that program because in high school, I did mechanical engineering. Well, that rate, they were doing away with it, which was LI for mechanical engineering, making the blueprints and stuff like that. So I did that in high school. So I thought, maybe I should just keep doing that.
Yeah.
But that rate was going to be no more. They kind of merged it with the, I guess with the MCs. It was like the JOs, MCs,
Right.
all that.
I remember that
all
time.
that kind of merged together.
Yeah.
Later on in my career, but I think it was the best move.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy it. I have a passion for it, and it's long hours, yes, but at the same time, you kind of got to love it somewhat to continue to do it.
Hey, man, y'all the morale of the ship sometimes.
Boy, sometimes.
All the time.
All the time. You got to eat, Jack.
Yeah.
You got to eat.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm kind of jumping ahead, but since we on that, like, man, what's up with these dinners, man? Like, okay, we come down and we got steak and lobster. And it ain't no holiday, no birthday meal.
Right.
Like, we know what time it is.
Well,
Everybody's like, yo, it's the bad news. That's on y'all card or something?
You know
That's
what?
on your prep card?
Sometimes
bad news meal.
It's a call from the captain. It's a call from the captain. You might just get that call like, hey, we might need to change the meal because we're about to put out some bad news.
Wow.
It happens that way. And I didn't know that until, becoming a chief, being an FSO. Those phone calls happen.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we need to pick up the morale or we need to do this. Ice cream socials, when you see a lot of those happening and they're not the norm, that might be a call. Sometimes it's not our call. It might be a call like, hey, it's something that's coming soon, so we need to boost the morale before it happens.
All right, so y'all hear that. Y'all understand what's going on. It ain't something we made up.
No.
It's a real thing.
It might be a call. It absolutely might be a call from your captain.
Yeah. And they know food is like the way to somebody's heart. Like,
it is.
You eating.
Yeah.
Especially a meal that you're not normally eating on a regular.
Right.
And you like, oh, okay. I know something about to come, but hey, what we gonna do about it?
But sometimes
I'm full of
it too.
Later that evening, you hear that the bosun mate come on with them bells.
You already know. Yeah, that call got made. And if y'all all, if at the end of the day, if you all sync with all that, you kind of understand that's what happens too. Everybody has a part in the ship's mission.
Okay.
So if our part is to boost morale, that's what it is.
You gotta eat.
You got to.
You gotta eat. So going to your first command, to leaving A school, going to your first command, what was that like? Going to a squadron?
Oh.
Because you went to squadron,
right.
But you still work, but you really work on the base.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we would we as a CS you go TAD a lot when you're at a squadron. So you might go TAD to the galley. You could work in the barracks. I really didn't want to like working in the barracks. I like being in the kitchen. So I was stationed in like Oceana a majority, unless we went on a det. Go on a det to like Fallon or Key West or something like that. You might work in like MWR or something.
Yeah.
And on the ship, obviously, you're going to the galley.
The galley. Yeah. Yeah. Because I know like a lot of, that's what I'm used to seeing with CSs in the squadron, like this, working on the base or barracks or something like that. And you always had to have a good CS or MS, CS. Especially when it comes to eating. I ain't going to even, that's one of them rates you have to have in your back pocket.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You have to have a CS in your back pocket.
They're crucial. Deployment, crucial.
Look,
yeah. So how is it like the difference like serving in like on an NAS or naval station compared to serving food on a carrier?
That's night and day.
Yeah.
You make you hone your skills, I think, at base galleys or smaller platforms. Because a carrier, that's a different monster.
Yeah.
You will have 23 hours of feeding just going on. Like some galley is open. It's a hot bar that's going to be open. Something is going to where S2 is working 23 hours out the day. Yeah. The only time you're taking off is XO's cleaning hour or whatever they call it.
Right.
So something is open, something's being worked, and the scheduling behind it, it's like they're kind of overlapping. So forward galley might be open 1 hour earlier than aft galley. And then when they're both closed, it's satellite stations open because we know folks on the flight deck got to eat. They're not going to make this meal. So
that's I never heard it broke down like that.
It takes a lot of planning with that. But you kind of got to, again, you got to be in sync with what's going on, what the mission is.
On a deck, because it changes. Time
Absolutely.
changes. People, and y'all got to keep up with that to feed people constantly.
Op tempo. Correct.
Wow. And that's at that level of what, 2,000 something people on the carrier?
You know,
This imagine like
that.
a cruise ship.
It's more than that. It's 2,000.
Yeah.
You know,
when the squadron come
on board, right? That's another
a whole nother 3,000.
You double that, yeah.
So now you're at like 5,000 people you got to feed. How are you doing that? You got to.
Everybody complaining.
Constantly.
Absolutely.
Constantly. That's constant work.
It's nerve-wracking. It is at a time. But
you prepping well before for breakfast. For breakfast, you prepping.
Yeah, my first ship I was on in the squadron was actually the JFK, the original JFK. So, and I was night shift. We literally prepped from the moment we came in throughout the meal just for breakfast. Because mid-racks was kind of already done for us because that's the leftovers of what, you kind of know what you're going to be cooking because this is leftovers from what you had throughout the day that you're, cooking or whatever you're doing with it. But for breakfast, oh, yeah, I stayed on that grill. Like, being a junior settler, you stay on the grill until you master it, and then you move to something else.
Really?
Or at least that's how I was brought up.
That's how you was brought up.
Right. And that's how it
crazy,
should be.
Man.
That's how it's almost how it should be. Until you get master one thing, you move on to the next. And it seemed like, when you make rank, and that's essentially how you should do it.
Right.
But of course the second class not gonna be on the grill. But coming out, first ship,
when you see a second class on the grill, you like they special. Because it's rare.
It is rare.
Because somebody's saying like, oh, well, hey, man, can you make me an omelet? Or, hey, can you make me that? You see a second class, like, I got you. Because they might have just made second class about a year, some time ago, but you still like the way that they cook. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Being a CS is special.
It is.
I cannot... Again, it's hard between you and PSs for me.
They deal with your money.
They deal with your money.
You don't mess with people that deal with your money or your food. Either one.
Like y'all two, it's a 1A, 1B.
Right.
Y'all can put whoever y'all want to put in the category. But that's how it is.
Okay.
Like y'all, you gotta eat.
You do.
You gotta eat, man. Like that's dope, man. That's dope. So your first deployment was on the JFK.
Correct.
Again, coming from Detroit, what is it that you seen to like, wow, I never thought I would see this?
Walking up to that ship, I was like, this is what we're going on? That's the idea was, because, we were going on a debt, and they're like, yeah, we're going on a ship.
Right.
We're flying out. We flew out from Virginia to Mayport. And then I just remember carrying my sea bag and just look, and it's like the entire pier is all ship. I'm like, this is what we about to get on.
Right.
It's like a floating city.
So because he was in the squadron the whole time.
Right. So I didn't see, I didn't see a ship. I wasn't in Norfolk. We were in Virginia Beach on Oceana.
Right.
But, walking up to that carrier, it's like, wow, this is it. And then I remember they told us, we put everything in the berthing, and we had to help take trash off the ship. And it seemed like it was just so many bags. Like it was daylight when we started. It was night when we finished. Absolutely.
That pier dumpster can be heavy.
Oh yeah. And we
especially coming from an underway.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It was eye opening. But I wasn't scared of the work. It was just, that's your initial reaction. It was no, hey, how you doing? None of that. Like, no, we gotta get this trash off the ship.
Get this trash off the ship.
we gotta get this trash off the ship.
I'm Petty Officer such and such, and you are who?
Oh,
hey, nah, man, come on.
Yeah, let's go get this trash off the ship.
That's how the leadership is. Like, and you just fall in line. Like,
that was it.
Oh, okay. We got to do this. We got to do this before we get to go home.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Right. And he knew, so he can't skate off.
You can't skate off. Like,
I got a story about that. I got a story about skating off with that one.
Go ahead.
So we were supposed to be taking out trash, and I was like, me and my homeboy, once we felt like we didn't took enough bags, we skated off. And then we finally came back to the galley, and my second class, the watch captain, was like, where we all at? Like, oh, we went and took a break. Oh, okay. So the next day, They the FSA that was in the deep sink,
Yeah.
it was like, you have the day off. They're gonna wash dishes today.
Ooh.
So me and good friend of mine, Aaron Brown, I'm pretty sure he gonna watch this. He remember when we had to we were FSAs.
Yeah.
On a carrier washing this, and it had to be the worst day. I want to say it was probably lasagna day or pizza day.
Oh, yeah.
Where everything, oh yeah, absolutely. But we had a time back then. You know, we clean dish, wash dishes, that's cool. We young, having fun.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out, like, because when we send sailors, TAD, to the galley, they like, it's like the worst thing in the world. You would think that was I know you deal with it all the time, especially air department, weapons department. Name a big department, you like, that's where you got to go.
Right.
It's TAD.
I mean, underway is the worst, but in port, the hours is pretty good. Because I remember when I went, we was in and out. Right. So when we were pulling port, okay, I'm going to get a few days off. But underway, you pretty much almost all day, every day.
So FSA, like an import FSA gets time off.
Oh,
absolutely.
Days off.
They're working 5 and 2.
3 and 2, something like that.
It's a 5 and 2. So you work every other weekend. So and then you're not standing duty. You could leave any day. If you want to.
You're not standing duty.
Right.
But underway?
Oh, yeah.
Game on.
7 days a week.
Game on.
There's no days
skates.
off.
Big skates. Yeah.
And there's always something to do. But you still got skaters in there too now.
Oh, absolutely. We call them
the
pro
whole FSA crew, you got some skaters in there.
Absolutely.
Professional.
Absolutely.
Professional.
Those are the ones you put
downhill.
And it's crazy because those are the ones we put on the serving line because we know they'll skate too much. You're not skating if you got to serve the crew. If you leave the serving line,
something wrong. Right,
something wrong.
Something wrong.
Because you're not feeding your friends that's coming through the line. So you already know. We know who to put where. Like we know he's a known skater. All right, we're going to put you in the deep sink. We're going to put you in the deep sink. That's what it is.
Skaters in the Navy. That's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's professional skaters out there.
Pro. That's what I call
it. And
it.
advanced. They advanced.
I'm not going to say what level of skate I was on,
but I mean,
I was
you was skating too?
But I encourage it though. Like I'll have a sailor where I know they skate. Like if they washed all the dishes, I'm not even gonna trip. Hey, as long as you back and when all these dishes are here, you need to clean them. I can understand the hustle. Go take your break, please, by all means. But these dishes will be waiting on you when they get back.
Because mine will come back and be like, man, she blah, 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 just talking. I know you FSAing, but you've been out here with me now for about 30 minutes. Just telling me some stuff, I guess, to take a break.
Hey, look.
And vent. Because what you going to say? I'm with Matt Chief. I had to go talk to him. He told me while I was CAD to come back anytime to talk if you need to. I'm exercising my right to talk to you.
Right now.
Right now. I know I'm supposed to be down there.
Yeah.
They looking for me too.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm talking to you right now. That's crazy, bro. Now I got it.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
There you go. You can't even do nothing with that.
I can't even do nothing with it. But I got the names though.
Right.
I got the names. I'm gonna talk to them. They played me.
Right.
All right. So now you're going to the brig.
Mm-hmm.
And see us in the brig. Just don't even. Unless y'all giving out bread and water or something. I don't know.
We were at one point. We were
bread and water.
Really.
Mm-hmm. So I left VFA 34 and went to the brig. Had to go back to San Antonio for correction school.
Okay.
So I was actually like a correctional officer at that moment. I didn't go to be a CS.
Okay.
But I did do CS things at one point. But I started working on my quals, and the highest qual I got was receive and release officer. So that's the person that receives the detainees or whoever's coming there.
Okay.
And confines them. So I take those confinement orders from the captain as a second class, and I had to make sure everything was correct. They got their physical and everything, and I initially signed the confinement order.
Oh, wow.
As taking them into the brig. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. Okay.
So going to the brig, you're dealing with a lot. You're seeing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Different pay grades coming through there. how is that as a leader? And you still got to respect them because they're an officer or a senior ranking person. I guess I don't know. How did you deal with that?
Well, when we were at school, they kind of told us like, you're going to be in a position where at least I'm an E5, and there's going to be detainees or inmates, or I can't even remember the name we really have for them, but they're going to have ranks. Some of them are still going to wear their ranks. So if you're a detainee, you still can wear your collar devices. If you're an inmate, you've been a judge and everything, which is a judge, that's what it is. They take their rank off. They just have the uniform on. And
you said a who?
Their uniform.
You said a judge.
A judge. That's what we call the ones that already been through court martial and everything. Okay. So they were a judge, I believe. That's
a judge. Okay.
Instead of saying inmate, prisoner, I think we call them a judge.
Okay.
But anyhow, if they're detainees, they still wear their rank, but they have no position. I have the position. So when I used to check those detainees in, I would let them know, like, you have no positional rights here. Even though you still wear your rank, I am in charge. Out the gate. That's how I would talk to them. When I give you a command, you would do this. When I give you a command, you would do this. You say, yes, CS2. Yes, petty officer. No, petty officer. Do you understand? And that's how you set the tone right there.
People give you problems with their ranks that give you problems with that?
No, not really. Not really. Because the CDO was usually a chief, and they'll be standing there while I'm giving them the entire spiel on being released. So it would never be an issue. And most times, people that once they make it to the brig, they don't want to cause no trouble. They want to do their time and go home.
I got you.
So even if they have those few moments, they know that you're not in charge right now.
Yeah.
So
what's that one of the worst cases you heard that was in there? I'm sure you heard a lot.
A lot. I know we had one, I want to say, might have been a lieutenant commander. He was stealing money some kind of way. Anyone when it had it, stealing money from the government some kind of way. But anything with kids, it was just it was a lot. That right there.
There be a lot of them in there about them kids.
Well, the level facility Norfolk was a few. It wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
And that might be a pit stop till they go somewhere else because they don't stay at that level. They might go somewhere else. So it might be just while they're going through their trial or whatever. I tried not to read their paperwork on why they were there.
Right.
Because you have to be fair, firm, and impartial. You can't treat one different than someone else. They're all here to do time.
Right.
So if you don't read into their paperwork, which it's my right as a receiving release, I do have to know that because everyone doesn't know that information. Yeah. So sometimes I did because, they lie. They're like, oh, I'm here for this, and that. And I'm like, no, you're not. I know.
Right.
I can look in the system and see what you're here for. I know.
Yeah.
And drug trafficking, that's the thing. Yeah, that is a thing. People get caught up with that. Like, it's a thing. It is. It is. Yeah. In the military. Those same people that's outside, they make their way in and try to do those same things while they're in. And they get caught up.
Eventually you get caught. I mean, you might can do it for a period of time, but it'll catch up to you.
Absolutely. And I know they're watching. I know they're watching.
I mean, you can run with it for a while, but it's going to catch up to you.
Absolutely.
I mean, we see it every day on the deck press on a smaller scale. Like, you are who you are. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And, some people, the transition from civilian to sailor, boot camp can help and make that happen. But, that's just like with life, period. You know what I'm saying? Once you're back against the wall, you're going to resort to what you know. And then when that money ain't coming in how they think it's coming in or how they feel it should be coming in, they're going to go back to what they know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because you got to think, like a friend of mine was telling me this coming out of boot camp, she was stationed in D.C., and she had a ticket. They put a boot on her car. She's like an E3. And she had to pay like $240, but her paycheck was like $250 or $260.
Ooh.
We got sailors that's like really struggle paycheck to paycheck. A lot of people that we probably came up with like was in that realm, But people think, oh, I'm gonna come into the military and do this and do that. Like it's a whole lot of money in the beginning. You got to work towards that.
You do.
It's there. Mm-hmm. It's there. So it blows my mind. He said, like a lieutenant commander stealing. Like, what you doing? At that pay grade, you like, I got a couple dollars.
Well,
at least I think.
Just the other day, somebody was stealing at the next. It's 05 on Little Creek. It's crazy. I'm telling you, these things happen.
Out the next. As a 05, what could you be stealing out of the next? What? I mean, a lawnmower or something? Like, what are we talking about?
And I know the talk was, it had to be somebody equal to his pay grade or higher. Captain, like, I'm not going. He'll sit there to Tuesday. Of course. XO's not going. I'm not going. I'm not equal to, so just so happened I'm privy to that. And I'm just like, why? Yeah, like, why? At that point, why? Yeah. That person's been doing it for so long, they thought they weren't going to get caught. And the time they get caught is when you're at the top, so, essentially. Yeah. It's crazy. He probably been doing that for years.
Yeah. And just finally got caught.
Just got caught.
There's a lot of thieves in the Navy. I don't want people. I always learn, like, why everybody put lockers on their locker?
Look.
Well, we all supposed to be family.
Because you don't want to give them an opportunity.
Yeah.
You don't want to provoke.
You just don't want to give them the opportunity. Yeah. They might be having a bad day.
Look, they might see
and
that.
We all, like, in here together. We said we can go on a flight deck and lock up arm to arm. From picking up fire to releasing the aircraft. I'm still locked my locker.
Yeah. I mean, you never know, man. Before they came in the Navy, they was nice with it.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, damn, I just want to practice.
Yeah. When I was got my first ship company,
I see if I still got it.
Like our chief mess on the Nassau, like you rarely seen a lock on a locker. Mm. It was just that place was different. Like you just and you could see I went in my man locker to get stuff out of there, but he knew.
Right.
But it's like nobody really put a lock on their locker, so it was kind of strange. But like I know coming up though, you gotta have your.
It's different in the chief mess.
It's a little we all
different
stole something I think in our lifetime. I got it. Yeah. At least I'd have. Let me say that. But it's just weird. Like, yeah, we can do a lot of things together, but I'm gonna put a lock on my locker.
Yeah. Liberty buddies. Let me put this lock on my locker.
You got to think, even at the police department, they put locks on their locker. They police. Crazy, man. Crazy. So you finally leave Virginia, go to Hawaii. Mm-hmm. Hawaii was beautiful. That was my first duty station.
Loved it. I loved Hawaii.
Yeah.
I started off in the barracks out there, which I hated.
Really?
But I was the first class in the barracks, and it was 4 of us in the barracks when we had one chief. I'm like, just the work that we were doing, I'm like, this is so easy. We don't need 4 people out here. Like, I want to go to the galley. Yeah. So I told my chief, Brian Walker, that he's a huge reason I'm where I'm at today.
Okay.
Because he helped me out. He was the chief that I needed at that moment to help me get to where I wanted to be. And I told him, I was like, I really don't want to be in the barracks. Can you get me to the galley? Mm-hmm. This is my goal. I want to be a warrant officer. Like, this is not going to help my career.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's cool. I have time off. I have time to go to school. But I'm like, I can do that at the galley as well.
Yeah.
Like, I need to be inside the galley, somebody's galley. And he made it happen. After a few months, I got me to the galley out there, Silver Dolphin Bistro. Hidden gem.
So you said you wanted to be a CWO. Why did you just want to be a CWO? Like, what was it? What did you see as your first class instead of going LDO? Like, say, I want to be a CWO.
So for chief warrant officers, essentially we stay in the same lane. I like the accounting side of food service, dealing with the money, understanding how, if we have too many steak dinners and we go in the hole, how that's going to affect our end of the month, if we're in a negative or in a positive. I like understanding how breakouts and everything plays a part in building the menu. Stuff like that. Though that is the lane that I wanted to be in. It's almost like running my own restaurant. Yeah, chief makes everything go as like the general manager, but the overall picture is from the warrant officer.
Okay, so coming up in that field, you just saw the warrant officer just doing that, and you were just like, that's
what I wanted to do.
Which warrant officer do you remember like seeing your first and say, you know what, I want to do it like him or her?
So many. But the one warrant officer that made me want to be a warrant officer, Donnie Townsend was one.
That's my guy, man.
Yeah, me and Donnie talk all the time.
I initiated him as the chief. Yeah, that's my dude, man.
Yeah. He was one, and it was I knew his like both of us being from Detroit, just talking to him, and he was just so like when I really put on first class and I say I wanted to do this, like I really want to keep pushing forward and going. I called him.
Yeah.
Another warrant officer was Harrison Wright, Chief Warrant Officer 5 right now. He's a NAV sub. Picked up the phone. I don't even know him at all. Yeah. Just telling him, talking to my senior chief at the time, and he was like, "Hey, I got this warrant officer number. I want you to call him." Talk from. He didn't know me from Adam. Years down the line, he's my inspector for the NA on Baton. Never met him, but he remembered that phone call.
Wow.
So things like that. It was just like he affected my career in so many ways. Bernice Williamson, she's retired now. You know her?
I know her.
She was one of my.
She was my FSO.
She was one of my FSOs at Oceana.
Tough.
Absolutely. And when I met her again after I commissioned, I was like, "You don't remember me?" She was like, "No." I was like, "I was a seaman. I was one of your CSs at Oceana, and I remember just seeing you just move. Like, I liked the way you moved."
She handled business though.
Right.
Yeah.
And like you are one of the reasons I'm here. And I told her, and she was like, I don't remember. I'm like, yeah, that was like 04. Of course you probably don't remember that because you're bouncing from galley to galley, doing your thing that you don't even admire who's watching you.
Yeah.
And that was it. Those are a few, just a few.
Yeah.
But there's so many.
Yeah.
Those are a few that I actually work with.
One for me, two that you just named, like Donnie Townsend. I was happy for him picking up on it, but I was mad at the same time. Him and I talked so much. I said, I envisioned him being like a Fleet or a McPine. Like he's that deep.
Right.
He's that deep. I call him a big teddy bear, man. But he really, really solid dude, man. Really solid dude.
Passionate.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Going through the season when it was crazy, so it was just funny. But I say, man, you should be a Fleet or a McPine. But Bernice Williams, she was at FSO, and we had Dave Miranda.
Oh yeah.
So Dave Miranda, I'm honoring him with a Goat Like a Hall of Fame this year. So plug, March 29th, Goat Like a Hall of Fame day party, 12 to 4 at the Rhythm Room. Show up. Chiefs, active duty, retired, whatever. Show up, show out. Let's have a good time. If one of them honorees you work for, either Force Master Chief Gary McClure, Dave Miranda, or Dr. Brenda Lamb, show some love and support. Come out and have fun. We're going to have a great time. So, So Dave Miranda,
he's my guy.
Solid cat, man. Like, he really showed me what chiefs operate on a ship. Because my first time I got to a ship, I was a chief.
Okay.
But watching him and how he brought me in as a young chief, and he was like that dude, the Don. Like, he was like that guy.
Absolutely.
But he maneuvered, how he handled business. Much love and respect for that guy. Much love and respect, man. So yeah. Y'all got some deep like leaders. And I'm just sitting here thinking about what you're talking about with the going this galley, that galley. Like in this area, what would be the galley to say you made it if you either led this galley or been a chief at this galley or like a FSO at a galley? Like, is it like a Norfolk, Oceana? Is it a base here like that?
Well, they all, within the region, they all have their moments where they won one of our prestigious awards, like the Captain Edward F. Ney Award, which is like our Food Service Excellence Award. So they've all won different times. I'm not sure which one won the most. I know most recently the Jeb Little Creek, we just went up for the Ney, waiting results.
Yeah.
And I want to say they had 4 previous to me getting there that they've won.
Yeah.
Hopefully we pick this one up.
Okay. Cool.
Waiting on results.
So out in Hawaii, what did you learn? Like something did you like, dang, y'all made this, like something that you learned being stationed in Hawaii in the galley, and like something that you'll never forget? Being in, Hawaii.
Right. So that was the first galley I went to where they actually had gas grills on a installation. Because a lot of our grills are like electric, and we don't have gas. Definitely steam, power, but there it was like a lot of the equipment was gas. So we had the gas grills on the inside, gas on the outside. We actually had the burners where we used the big woks. It's a different thing. Yeah. It's a different taste. It's a different feeling.
Something like the wok.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Like
Like at a Chinese restaurant, they had those huge woks where we would cook everything in. We had the coppers, but more so we would use those woks to cook in. And they had a big rotary oven that was gas as well. Yeah. I'm like, this is like got to be the only one in the fleet left. Yeah. But they don't change anything in Hawaii. It's historic out there. Right. So they might, renovate the inside. Outside's going to look the same. So
I did like pigs and stuff like that.
We did. Yeah. We did. The only thing that I didn't see at the galley where they actually I guess they cook the pig somewhat in the ground. I guess it's like a grilling way they do it. We didn't do that at the galley.
No.
But
I'm shocked.
Wrapping when we do like huli chicken, I remember wrapping it with the tea leaves and smoking it on those grills. I do remember seeing that from the civilian chefs that we had there because they're local and they were military, but just showing their craft, and it's like, okay, that's something I can put in my tool bag for later. So it was pretty cool.
I remember in Pensacola, the Chief Club out there, we do this annual luau thing, and we used to do that. Put the pig in the ground, wrap them up, burlap sack, all that stuff like that. Right. The charcoal, put it in the ground, bury it, let it just do its thing, and it's just good stuff.
Right.
Yeah, Hawaii. It was a lot of good times out there.
Loved it. If I could go back, if I could end it all, then that's where I would want to end it in Hawaii.
Really?
The Silver Dolphin. As the FSO, absolutely. I would love to go back, and if that was my last, galley to go to, I'll go anywhere, but I would want to end it there.
Right. But that's your first time eating lumpia when you went to Hawaii?
No, I actually had lumpia here, but real lumpia, yes, yeah. Like getting the froze. I love the froze.
Yeah. That's good.
That's fried egg, fried rice omelet. Yeah, that's why we call them froze.
Yeah. Hawaii was a good time, man. So, what's your favorite meal to prepare?
I do like grilling, and I really do. I like smoking different things on the grill, and just I got a pellet grill. I have a charcoal grill.
Okay, because I guess that's two answers. Because when you asked him, my mind went to preparing for the crew.
Oh, for the crew.
It sounds like you going to yourself.
Either or.
Myself.
Yeah, no,
so
give me
me both. Give me both.
Yeah.
For yourself at home and for the crew.
Yeah. For the crew?
Yeah, I like that.
For the crew, I like pizza nights. Actually doing them everything from scratch. Okay. We did that on Bataan a lot.
Yeah, we did.
That was my thing. Like because it seems like we're getting away from the actual art of cooking when it comes to certain things, and when you're doing everything from scratch, you have a better appreciation to it. And then I feel like the crew loves it more. Like those frozen pizzas we get, they're terrible.
Yeah.
We were making dough throughout the week just to build up to those Saturday nights, having those pizzas, because we will make enough dough, like maybe 10 a day. At night,
really?
We'll have our night baker make 10, and we will freeze them in a freezer. And then by the time, Saturday hits, we have enough to feed the entire crew. Instead of trying to do it.
Boy, some of them combinations was legit.
Yeah.
Waiting. When y'all gonna come back out with that one? I'm looking for that one.
Yeah.
That's how it was. But it took time, and it was like, why you try to do it all in one night? Just do 10 a night. You do 10 a night, make it all the way to Saturday. We got enough.
It's a lot of prep work.
It is. But they're honing their skill. That skill with making that dough, manipulating that dough every day, they're just getting better and better at it. And you could tell, when they, the dough was just not right. But, if you do everything repetitively, you master it. And that was the idea of putting that junior sailor in the bake shop. Like, oh, yeah, that's a lot of work. Yeah, it is. It is. But
Boy.
You learn to love it.
You hit that bake shop, come by with some chocolate chip cookies. Boy, you better stop playing.
That back don't know me.
Hey, let me get a couple of them joints before we take them upstairs. Yeah, let me get a joint. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Put it in that white box.
Boy, you know.
Send it over the messenger.
That white box says something.
Look.
That white box, man, it says a lot of things.
It do.
Y'all tripping.
It say hookup. That's what it say.
Oh, I know. That white box says a lot of things. Like, it's a lot of things transpired because of that white box. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you got your best baker making them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But they weren't always the best. Cookies. But they take a lot of trial and error, we'll say.
Yeah. So, cooking up for the COs.
Hold on, he didn't tell us.
Oh, this right here, this thing. Oh, man, we can talk about this food thing for a minute. But go ahead.
So
that
for
was
yourself.
Okay, for myself.
You say
for at home,
grilling for yourself.
I love grilling. My family know that. They know. I mean, I can get in the kitchen and bang some pots, but my passion is taking that time, sitting outside and just, smoking on my pellet grill or my charcoal grill with the, the wood chips or the chunks of wood, and it's just different. Yeah, it's a different appreciation for it. Why you just, you got that shoulder, a beef shoulder, and you just smoke it down to the point where you make a shredded beef or whatever.
You one of them cats that got like about 3 or 4 grills.
I do.
So what's the difference between a pellet and the?
So with the pellet, you're not using charcoal. You're using these pellets. Like it's like flavored wood, I guess, concentrated into a pellet, and then you pour those pellets into the grill, and it ignites and it has like a little ember where it's burning. And you kind of smoke like a controlled smoke that you can do. Vice with the charcoal, you kind of gotta set your coals right. You got to put the wood on there correctly. You got to really monitor that heat. With the pellet, you just setting the time. You setting the temperature, pouring it in and going.
People gonna listen to my man. Nah, the pellet this, the
okay.
that.
I mean,
you get them type of wars, man. I don't know. I mean, I'm a basic guy. I grill a little bit. Which one is it better for you? The pellet?
For me,
yeah.
For long term, so I can manage the temperature. I would say the pellet.
The pellet.
Yeah, because I have the probe where I can monitor the temperature of the meat and everything, and you can adjust the heating. With the coals, you really don't know.
I know a little bit about a little bit.
You got to do a little bit of both.
Man. With the cold, man, you got to, again, open the vents up, close the ventilators, you might have to move it to the side, let the heat over here. The pellet, you just...
So the pellet, you just set it, forget it kind of thing.
I got both.
You got both.
I got both. I got both. Okay. I got the barrel. I got the barrel for the charcoal, and I got my little pellet joint.
So the pellet, do you prefer to smoke certain meat in there? Like
I do. I like when I do my ribs, I do it on charcoal all day. Okay. I don't like doing it with the pellet. Like if I'm doing smoked salmon or like I say, like that beef shoulder, I might just do that on my pellet. But if I'm doing ribs, I definitely need to use charcoal, wood chips, the bricks.
Yeah, when you gotta put put the full pan in there with the water and get busy. I
spraying it down
a little bit. You know what I mean?
I think he's from Alabama. I'm from Alabama, so I know how.
You know everything.
I mean, people say like, I don't get into the barbecue wars or grilling wars. I mean, I don't even eat meat, so I'm a basic dude. Yeah, I don't even eat meat. But people talk. It's a big deal.
It is.
There's guys that go at each other.
See, I don't do all that.
There's cats that really go at each other about grilling.
Oh, yeah.
Like they know, oh, no, how you got to do it this way.
Yeah. When you go on their phone, they got pictures like they family members.
Hey, you see this? You see what I'm... And they send pictures like, this is my work.
This is my brisket from last week.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
A whole album in their phone. With
this grilling stuff.
Brisket. The next album labeled ribs. You know what I'm saying? Like, get out of here, yo.
But they real about
it's a thing.
No games. No games
it's
to
play.
play.
It's a thing. It is.
I'm not like that. But I know, like I said, I know a little bit about it.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It
sound like
so it is. It's a science to it all.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I believe it. So you get to the baton.
Mm-hmm.
You were first class. Did you know that was going to be the tour that you want to make chief?
No.
No?
Because I was a first class for 10 years before I made chief.
Really?
So I was a first class for a very long time. And I felt like I was passed over a lot. And leaving, well, go back to Joint Base, Pearl Harbor. Leaving there, I was like number 2 on the base for like 2 years straight. And I'm just like, I'm not making it. Like, what is it? And I'm like, well, maybe I need to go back to C and perform at C. I didn't know it was going to be then, but in my mind, I'm like, I know eventually I'm going to make it.
Right.
At some point, I'm going to make it because I think I've shown a lot. I've done a lot. And 18, 19 years in, I'm like, it's nothing else I could do.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Right. Pearl Harbor, you got a little hardware too, right?
Absolutely. Sailor of the Quarter, Sailor of the Year. Like I said, I was number 2, but I couldn't move up to number 1 because the number 1 guy, neither one of us made chief. So we we got there the same time. He's number 1, I'm number 2, and we're just like
now could have been
there.
Leaving the brig and going overseas and back to shore duty. Is that a thing like in y'all career path like that?
Well, I had a ship in between there as well.
Oh,
when I made first. The Arlington.
Arlington. That's
so,
right. So,
and that was a pre-com.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe that was it. I don't know. But it's all about timing. I am a firm believer. It's about timing, and I didn't understand it because I just wanted it now.
Yeah.
Like I'm at 15 years. I'm seeing friends that are senior chiefs, and we were like seaming together. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like what am I missing that they have that I don't? And you compare yourself to them.
No doubt.
Absolutely. You have to have that talk with yourself.
Yeah.
Because you might be missing the mark on something.
Yeah. Right. How do you deal with work-life balance?
Mm-hmm.
We deal with a lot. At work, you probably locked into doing this. Got kids.
Absolutely.
And you want to have some you time. How do you deal with all of that?
It's chaotic at times, because again, I have 3 kids. I have a 17-year-old, 10-year-old, and a 1.5-year-old. Oh, wow. So you learn you got to make time for them, especially with the military, because I've been in over 20 years. I've given a lot of my life to the military, but you got to take those specific times. Like, for example, with my daughter, she's into step, she's into band. Right now she's doing the cello, but when she goes to middle school, she wants to do clarinet. I have to make time for that. Just like I have to make time for the military. You got to have that balance. And I can't always rely on, everyone else, figuring a way for my kids to get to where they need to be. I make it a point, okay, Wednesdays, I'm taking my daughter to her practices. I'm going to pick her up. I'm going to these basketball games where she's performing because that's what she's going to remember. And if I'm not there, she's going to remember that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because see, with me, like that's kind of like a hot topic, work-life balance, you know what I'm saying? Because for me, I don't like that term because it makes people think like there is a balance, and it's not. It's just managing, So I think we should really be saying like, hey, as more senior sailors, as leaders, hey, just let you know right now, if you want to be successful, it's not really going to be a balance. You know what I'm saying? I just like when any entrepreneur, anybody that's great is an imbalanced person. They just know how to manage their time.
Because it'll never be balanced.
And that's the thing. You ain't going to never be balanced.
It'll never be balanced.
And I think when people hear that term, work-life balance, they're expecting it to be some kind of balance.
No.
No, it's just a time.
It won't be a 50-50.
Yeah,
oh, no.
And that's the thing. And that's what a balance is by definition. It's a balance. It's going to always be this. It's going to be that.
Yeah.
If you're spending your time here, something is going to suffer, but I just know how to manage. Like you said, okay, I want to go to these baseball games with my daughter and everything that they got to do. If you get a phone call, that goes to imbalance, but I know how to manage it.
Right.
Okay, I'm not going to panic because, let my daughter know something going on, but I'm finna make about 3 or 4 phone calls and manage this until I'm able to get there or do this. Or you can just talk somebody else through it. Hey, did you ask these questions, them questions, boom, 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 you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But when I start hearing people like, I don't answer the calls and I don't do this and I don't do that, like,
you still got to answer those phone calls.
Yeah. You do.
You do.
So it's just like, I just think it's about work-life management. You know what I'm saying?
You got to you are managing it.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah, you are managing.
In the military, out of the military. You know what I'm saying?
You are managing.
I mean, because, man, we got people who working 18-hour days out here, getting to it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, shoot, all of us done came up real humble beginnings. and our parents was not around.
Right, right. We had to figure it out on our own.
Coming home from school letting yourself in, fixing your own sandwich.
Our own sandwich, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just like you come home and your mom and your dad at the house like, what y'all doing here? Trying to balance some stuff out.
You know what's deep that you speak on that? Because you don't really beat your parents home growing up. You never beat your parents home. Or they never beat you home.
Never. No.
They never beat us home.
We got home first.
And if they was home, you like, yo, what
are you doing here? I quit my job because I wasn't having fun. It's just certain stuff that triggers to me, man. It just triggers to me. Hey, when I stop having fun.
Like you really think about it. Like my mom, I never seen my mom. Even if she took off of work, she probably wasn't at home.
Busy. Getting away from you.
I need a break. But now our kids come home like, oh yeah, I've been here all day. Like what?
Yeah. They don't understand. Like in this military, man, like we are privileged, more privileged than what we give ourselves credit to be. And it's just like, yo, man, put stuff in its perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's certain things that's like triggers to me. I'm not gonna say that term work-life balance is a trigger, but you know, I just like don't think it's going to be a balance.
It would never be a balance, an even balance of 50-50.
And then that whole thing about, you know, like I said before, like when I stopped having fun, whatever you came home and your mom and dad was at the crib, like you said, what you doing here? I quit my job because I wasn't having fun no more. These lights ain't fun.
These lights ain't fun.
The gas and electricity.
Yeah.
When you sitting there with candles on, you having fun now.
Talking about you boiling water at the,
that's not fun either. Like at the end of the day, like, hey man, we got to do what we have to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway,
times are different.
I digress.
Nah.
He go off on a tangent real quick.
Yeah, I mean, really, real me here. Real me here.
Come on back.
I mean, it continue on stuff like that same realm. Like, how do you deal with like mental challenges of being a man, father, leader, a naval officer? Like, those are the things that we like deal with our 24 hours throughout the day.
It's a lot.
You know,
it's demanding.
Yeah.
Or at least being a CS is very demanding. You're always at a service to someone. Yeah. So I think throughout the years, just going through all of that, I'm just resilient to certain things. Like, man, it could be a whole lot worse. Going on a COVID deployment, like that was like probably like the worst deployment I went on, but it made me resilient to when something I think that's really bad happened. And I'm like, it can't be that bad because this was worse. Yeah. So I know I can get through this challenge or this issue that I'm going through, because that was hard mentally.
Okay.
Now, speaking of being hard and difficult, it's definitely a topic that we want to touch on.
Right.
You know, looking at the hat and everything, purpose and meaning to that. Okay, but all right, we're gonna put a pause on that. Okay, back to when you said you didn't think you was going to make chief.
Okay.
Speaking of mental toughness, you know, knowing or looking around, like, man, I keep getting looked over. Like, how was you mentally, you know, able to keep going and say, okay, I'm not gonna give up. You know, because I still want to make CWO. You know, like you said, you made it kind of later in your career. Some people, they be like, yeah, if I ain't made it by year 18 or whatever, like, I'm done. You know, like I got start packing or preparing for the afterlife. So how did you mentally prepare yourself for that?
What motivated me more was the people around me. They had more faith when I was losing faith. When I would talk to sailors, like, man, you've been in 19 years, you ain't a chief yet. But I'm like, you know, it's different. And I felt like if I took a day off, then they would take a day off. Because, you know, sailors watch you. They mimic you. They do everything.
Yeah.
And they want to be you, but they don't want to say it, you know. And then they'll tell you, like, later on, like, you know, you were one of the best LPOs I had. You were one of the best CS1s I had, or something like that. And it's just like, yeah, but to me, when I hear that, I don't want to just be the best CS1. I want to be the best version of me, wherever I do. And I just knew it was more to it. And if I quit, that might be the chance that I miss because I quit. So that kept me going.
And see, that's one thing I think June sellers don't really be understanding. Like sometimes they carry us more than they realize. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like I always tell my sellers all the time, like, what's your reason, you know, for why you do what you do, right? And understand it, lock into that reason, but have another reason too, because your reason, you might get tired or you might meet that goal. You know what I'm saying? Why you join the Navy? Oh, to make money or to make a rank or whatever. But then when you do that, now what? You know, I made as much as I wanted to make. Oh, I joined the Navy to get away from home. Okay, so you away from home. Now what? You know what I'm saying? You ain't in, you know, wherever.
Yeah, you ain't there
You ain't
no
in North
more.
Dakota.
You left that.
That goal is done.
Yeah.
That was the next goal.
What's the next
You know
one?
what I'm saying?
Right.
And I tell them, you know, like what you just said. I tell sellers that. Like sometimes you keep me going because I know you're watching me. You know what I'm saying? So my reason has gone. Like I done put a lot of checks in the box. But now my reason is you.
You watch me.
Yeah.
I think Kobe said that before too. He stayed in the gym because somebody else was in the gym and he didn't leave until like 2 hours after they left.
Not Gilbert, but Jay
was
Will.
Jay
one of my
Will,
favorite stories. You know? Yeah.
He said that. Now that sticks to you. You know, he's one of, you know, he had an awesome life, but the way of thinking, I took on some of those things as well. Like you never know who's watching you. Like you don't. You really don't. These people paid to go see you play, and you gonna take a night off?
Yeah.
No
That's
way.
tough.
No way.
So you finally make it, right?
Make it.
On baton, Big Five, you know what I'm saying? Seller of the year, you know what I mean? Again, I guess.
Oh, on the baton? Okay, all right.
He's all right.
He goes, all right. Yeah.
He ain't gonna give it. He ain't gonna give it.
Okay.
I give him that.
All right.
Yeah.
But that's what the award said. You know what I mean? But so you finally make it. How did that feel?
It felt good. It felt good hearing my name over the 1MC. It really did. But I still didn't know. You know, you never know until you step into that goat locker, what to expect. And it's funny because even though the day I knew results was coming out, same day they scheduled my board for my chief warrant officer package. So I was like, oh man, it's like, now I got to choose which one I'm going to go to. I know I got to go here, but I know I need to be here right after lunch. Like, I know I got to be there. I was like, I'm going to go to my board. I'll just come back later. I'm going to get smoked regardless. I'm going to go to my board regardless. They're going to know. They already know. I'm sure they know. Yeah. Okay. It was like both sides was playing a game. Almost. You know that was the day results was coming out. That's the day you scheduled my board. Come on, coordinator. You knew that. Okay. But, yeah, it was all good.
So going in there and having to answer those questions and go through the board and knowing in the back of your mind, like, I finally achieved this career milestone. Like, how was you able to compose yourself?
Because I didn't feel like it was a stepping stone for me. It definitely wasn't a stepping stone for me. Because going through the season, being a chief for even that short time, I learned a lot.
No, I'm talking about when you had to go through
Oh, when I had to go through the appraisal board.
Yeah, knowing, like,
okay.
Man, I finally met this career milestone.
It was awesome. It really was. To feel like, okay, I've obtained the goal that I always wanted to have. What now? And then you got to bring somebody along. You know, you got to pick your relief. Their slogan is like, you got to find your relief day one. And I think it's tough because I'm looking for a me, vice looking for the passion I had at that rank. And I see it, and, you know, a lot of people tell me, like, oh, I want to be a warrant officer. I want to be just like you. Like, nah, don't be like me. Be better. You know how long it took me to figure it out? Like, it took me a long time. If that's what you want to do, you need to get into what it takes, what they're looking for, understanding discrete requirements early, if that's what you want to do. I didn't learn that until I was, 10 years in.
So what's the hat about, Stang?
Stang. So this hat right here, it's a depiction because I was diagnosed with MS. And I put my thoughts into a hat because I have a YouTube channel, which is Mustang Life 24/7 on YouTube. And Stang is because I'm a Mustang.
Okay.
The word hope I put hope on it because MS patients usually we have hope because there's no cure. But we want to have hope that will be a change and have a positive outlook on, having this disorder.
Okay.
So we have hope. And this butterfly, the butterfly is a semblance of hope as well, but the butterfly, this one in particular, has white dots. When you're going through trying to get diagnosed with MS, you get MRIs. And the way the picture kind of looks like a butterfly. With the white dots, those are the lesions that's on the brain of someone that has MS. So the design, it has a lot to do with multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So how does MS impact like your daily life, like what you do on the daily?
For me, I'm affected because it affects everyone different.
Okay.
It's a central nervous disorder, so that affects your spine and your brain. For me, it affects my vision. I get like my limbs. I get like trembling, or it's almost like my limb feels like it's falling asleep.
No,
but it's not. Tingling. Yeah, that's the word. Tingling. So I'll have tingling in my feet, and then it'll kind of like go through my body, and I'll have it in my arms. And it's not every day.
Yeah.
But again, this disorder affects people differently. But for me, how it affects me, that's how it affects me. My vision, and I get tingling throughout my body.
So how did that came about? Like was it you older as an adult or younger?
No, when I was in school, I had to do a operation screening. And I went and did my vision test, and I noticed I couldn't see, and it was really blurry in my left eye. And going to the ophthalmologist, they set you up on a machine, and you got to look in there, and then they have the lights blinking and all that stuff, and they're looking, they're like taking pictures of my eyes, and they show it to me, and they're like, "We don't know what that is on your eye. We need to send you to a specialist." So while I'm in school, I'm going to the hospital.
So what school is this?
This supply course school in Newport, Rhode Island.
Yeah. So you done got commission and everything.
Commission and everything.
You going down your path to, your first command as an officer.
Right. So I had already had orders, but we didn't have a diagnosis, so it was kind of weird. So I was like in a gray area, and I lost my C duty orders. And they're still trying to figure out what's what. It's no definite answer because it's hard to diagnose someone with MS. They have to do multiple tests. They have to a lot of blood tests, a lot of MRIs, a spinal tap. Like it's a lot of things that come to play because you don't want to misdiagnose someone because it could have been anything. And with vision, that's one thing about it, but it's usually multiple things that's going on. Right.
Oh, wow.
Hence the multiple sclerosis.
Right. Oh, got you. Yeah. Your brother, your twin.
Right.
He's good or?
Oh, my twin passed away.
He passed away. Oh, okay.
Passed away.
Sorry. Okay. Okay.
2020. Yeah, he passed away.
Oh, okay. So had they find are they getting close to getting a cure for this or?
It's a lot of advances with medicine.
Okay.
One of the medicines I'm on is an infusion therapy, and I do it twice a year. It's called Ocrevus, where it's pretty much I'm hooked up to an IV, and they pretty much administer the medicine through IV. But there's different ways you could do it. You can get a pill, you can do the shot. I wasn't really trying to take a pill every day of my life, and I didn't want to take a shot every week. So I chose to try the infusion. Okay. And I'm not sure. I haven't been with my neurologist after I've taken my first dosage. So we still have to see, is this even helping me? Is it making it better? Is it making it worse? I know that at least with this type of medicine, the remission rate is higher. And remission is like you go into a state where it's almost like you don't have it anymore. Okay. So we'll see, as I go through the therapy, if this is the one for me.
Okay.
So it's like a trial period right now.
All right. I know we kind of like speeding around with different things, but I want to take it back for a minute to when you first was diagnosed, right? I mean, because professionally in your career, it's like you finally reached to where you wanted to go.
Right.
Finally, I made chief, made CWO. I'm going through these schools, getting ready to finally do what I wanted to do, what I seen people do, and now I'm hit with this hurdle, this roadblock, and everything. So, what did that feel like?
Felt like a ton of bricks. It really did, because my number one thing was to run a food service operation at sea. Like, I'm not one of those people that, like, you know, you get in the Navy and like, oh, I got to go to sea. Surprise. Yeah. No, my idea was I want to do that. I like the challenge. So going on another Big Day Anfield, which would have been the Kearsarge, was ideal for me because I've already done it to a certain extent, except for being the FSO.
You done help somebody. I can completely understand that. Right. You know, that's just like with me, you know, making Master Chief. I wanted to go to a big deck carrier because I done seen it so many times, and you have visions of like, okay, if it was me, I would do it this way or do it that way. And so now you finally was getting ready to do that.
And then it's like that. Just snatched away. But you know, it's everything happens for a reason.
Yes, sir.
So when I lost my orders, I'm at Naval Medical Center, Portsmouth, and the detailer called me. He said, "Hey, I need you to go."
So they just sent you TAD to Portsmouth.
No, I had orders to Portsmouth.
Okay, to do what at Portsmouth?
Exactly. I was just there on some supply duty orders. It's not a job for me specifically there. Okay. So I'm just there like holding a supply officer's orders because I'm lim due at this point.
Okay, so there was lim due orders.
Right, so they're lim due orders.
They got a galley though,
they do.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Okay,
it's a different. It's different because
Navy or
it is Navy.
It's Navy,
but they're different because they fall under the director of dietitian directorate or something like that. It's they do things totally different. It's a lot of civilianized jobs there, but they have CSs that cook there. They're attached. Some of them are attached to the comfort. And, that's where they work at when they're not at sea. So, again, the detailer called me. He said, "Hey, I need you to go over to Little Creek. Can you do that?" I'm like, "Absolutely. You giving me a chance to actually do my job right now." So because the FSO that was there was retiring, and the billet would have been gapped probably 5-6 months. Had I not gone, I'm like, yeah, that's right up my alley. Absolutely, I'll go. Yeah. So, checked into the hospital. Maybe a week later, I went over to the galley, and you know they had just finished their 5-star assessment, and I was told initially checking in like, hey, this galley is going to be the galley that's going for the Navy this year. So I'm like, oh, I can't. It's all gas. I got to go. Yeah. You know, so it's no trying to figure it out. Like, you have to assess yourself, figure out what you need to correct, and then your inspector's coming in November. So it gave me like 5 weeks to get them ready, and I think we did great.
That's cool.
So you still going through your condition, and still this, you know, like I guess what we can compare to is any inspection. You know what I'm saying, or whatever high level inspection. You know, did your condition interfere with times, like you said, it affects you differently? You know, you can be tired one day, your vision, hand-eye coordination, or whatever.
I was transparent with it, with my sailors. I'm a firm believer. If you tell them what's going on, we'll all understand where we're trying to go. Okay. So we understood from day one what our goal was. When I finally got diagnosed, I literally at quarters, I told them like, hey, you know, we like family, right? And they're like, yeah, we like family. I'm like, okay, this is what family do. We keep it real with each other. Yeah. And I let them know I was diagnosed with MS. And some days I might not feel like me. I might not, and I want y'all just to know I'm just not like not in the office for a reason. Like, I might be at the hospital. I might be too tired today. If I leave out early, it's a reason behind it, you know, because I'm starting this new medication. I don't know how it's going to affect me. And it's a lot of times, and they understand. They used to come by my office like, "You okay, sir? You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good today." You know, I walk to them, talk with them, but it's just certain days I knew I'm like, I can't do it today. I gotta go. I can't.
FSO went out partying last night.
No.
Stuff going on.
I got a lot going on, and they understood for the most part. And I feel like when you're transparent for certain things, you know, that they need to know, they understand.
Right.
But in the thick of it, we were all there. You know, on weekends, putting in that work, and then it's on the channel, and those moments right there, those bonds kind of got us together, and everyone understood why it was important, why we're doing what we're doing, because we were all there doing it. And then it just was like, you know, once it was icing on the cake when the inspector came, because everything was perfect, I feel. Yeah. I haven't got the scores yet, but, you know.
If you got like any like walks, like for MS walks, any volunteer stuff, man, you know, reach out to us, let us know so we can put that out there. You know, get as much support.
Okay.
You know,
yeah, we actually got one
support
coming
you
up.
with that. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, let us know.
Absolutely.
Seriously on that. You mentioned something about a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's that about? Like, what did you have that for?
So, my YouTube channel, I started initially. It was just me walking around the galley, and it was, you know, it's my first duty station, sort of say, and I'm just like showing my day. I called it Life of FSO. So I put it on my TikTok, that video, and it got like 10,000 views. And I'm like, wow, I could actually do something with this. Like somebody's actually watching this. And it was just me just talking, interacting, voicing over like a video that I did for like, you know, probably like 3 minutes.
Right.
But it became fun, and you know, even some of the sailors would give me like ideas of stuff to do, so I would try it and see how it worked. Yeah, absolutely. And certain things worked, some things didn't, but they enjoyed it, and it was more so they were like, "You got to keep doing it." You know, I drop it in our CS Facebook page, you know, and people from the fleet like, "You have to keep doing that," and it made me motivate. Well, it didn't make me, but it motivated me to keep going. You know, keep doing different things that they would ask me to see, like, "Hey, we got a graduation today. Can you do something with that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know, take a couple pictures, you know, do a little short video," and it's motivating for them. I thought it was, you know, kind of corny for some of the stuff that I was doing, but they enjoyed it.
Right.
So that's what kind of kept me going with it. And then I started, you know, doing different things with it and got a little passion behind it.
So that very, very first one, you just did it
I really just did it just to walk around the galley and show my name was on a placard, you know, like show the sailors cooking. And, you know, it was just from the view of me walking around just talking to sailors.
No, that's a big deal, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. So Life of a FSO, that's the YouTube channel.
Right.
And you just going around talking about, you know, daily things that's going on inside the galley.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So what is it that you really want to, like, get to the people? Like, 'cause I can see a lot of fun in that, you know, but what is it that you really want to give to the viewers to say, hey, because everybody didn't go cranking.
No, they didn't.
You know, me, that's why I say that.
You? Or you, everybody?
I never went cranking.
Everybody didn't go.
Yeah.
Everybody is
me. Yeah, I never went cranking.
I definitely went.
Yeah. Because some people, like, they have a bad taste, but it's like, yo, it's fun parts to it, too.
Mm.
Yeah, because I can say, for me, I would send my first classes there to do, like, Master of Arms. Because I knew it was a great leadership building.
It is.
You're just not leading our rate as AOs. You getting to, you know, lead ABs, name a rate.
Everybody come through us.
Everybody got to come through there. So I always wanted to give my top first classes that opportunity to say, wow, you know, I was able to manage these people outside our rate. Because I believe it's easy to lead within our rating. But when you're dealing with other rates and people mentality, you're just leading at that point. You're not being a
right.
That, or I'm an SME. I'm just showing leadership 101 as a Master of Arms. So that's why it was always a big thing to me. So what is it that you want the people to, like, receive and get from it? what you're doing? Or you just doing it for fun?
I'm doing a lot. Well, initially it was for the CSs, to show what we do every day from my lens. Because I know coming up as a junior sailor, sometimes I didn't know what FSO did every day. I just know he was at quarters, and he said a couple words. Chief was running everything. LPO making us do XYZ GMTs.
Right.
What does FSO do? Like, what does he do? Like, why is this person he has this title? Like, what does he do?
Yeah.
Like, literally day in and day out. It's almost like he's an accountant. He's paying attention to where all his money is going because he's the accountable officer of everything. He has the ideas for certain menus and changes and things and implementing policy, but overall, he's managing your basic daily food allowance and managing it so you can't have expensive meals today and then you eating sandwiches on the weekend. Like, you got to balancing the books. So he's almost like an accountant. Well, the FSO, I don't want to say he, but that's one job, that I enjoy.
Yeah.
About it.
That's good.
So that showing little clips of that and, the morale of the crew and showing everybody what CSs actually do, because they always say, oh, yeah, cooks, they do this. They can go to the barracks. They can do that. Like, they can go to the White House. Okay, but this is what really happens in here. Right. This is how you really prepare for inspection. This is how I make my deposits on a daily from these cash sales and from people coming into my galley paying. This is what I actually do. So it was just a snapshot of that.
Right.
From my lens.
Okay.
And earlier you kind of broke down the hat or whatever, but when you came in, you was kind of explaining more about the purpose, like why now and everything. Okay, you told us the sting and
right.
open, the butterfly and everything like that, but okay, why you started making them now?
So I made the hats with a idea that, if I sell them, I'm going to donate that to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. I reached out to them through email, and we had a Teams meeting or whatnot. And I told them, hey, this is my idea. I want to make a hat, and I want to donate the proceeds to the MS Society, because I know you all do a lot of research on new developments to, help others. And being in the military, I don't pay for the medicine. I wouldn't pay for certain services, but there's people that are not in the military that the National MS Society actually helps, where they need wheelchairs or anything. Like, they pay for research to get done so we can obtain a cure one day. But
so it's a fundraiser.
It's a fundraiser, yes.
So where can they purchase the hat at?
On my website, it's mustanglife247.company.com. I'm gonna put in
okay.
I can't remember the name of it, but the actual website But it is Mustang Life. It's on my Facebook. It's on my IG.
So on Facebook we can find it, on IG.
Yes.
Mustang Life.
On Facebook you can actually find it. Mustang Life 24/7 on Facebook. It's on all my profiles. I share it. It's on my YouTube channel, which is Mustang Life 24/7. You can find it everywhere.
So it's a fundraiser for a specific period of time? Or?
Ideally, March is MS Awareness Month.
Okay.
So I want whatever donations or proceeds from there, I'm donating.
Okay. So
then,
March.
At the end of March, April 6th is the actual MS walk, and that day, that's when I want to give the donation to the National MS Society here in Virginia Beach.
Okay.
So that's the idea. Whatever, from the proceeds, I'm going to get a big check, put a sticker on it, and actually donate that day right before the actual MS walk.
So from now to April, more or less, you're going to be fundraising, selling hats with proceeds going to the MS Foundation here locally.
Yes.
And donate the funds on the day of the walk.
Yes.
Which is April the 6th.
April 6th. It's a Sunday.
Okay. So where's the walk going to be at?
It is at the ODU campus in Virginia Beach off Princess Anne. I want to say that's like the health branch or something like that. But that's the ODU site that are doing the walk this year. But they have plenty of them that's happening throughout the year. There's another one that's going to be in Newport News, but I know locally when I talk to them, that's the one that I'm going to be at, the one in Virginia Beach. I'm not sure which the date for the one in Newport News, but if you go to their website, National Multiple Sclerosis website, you can look at the schedule. It has walks all throughout the year.
Okay. And how much are the hats?
The hats are $35. I also have bracelets as well. The Mustang Life Hope bracelet, which is $5. So it comes as a pair. You have the orange and the black pair.
Okay, so you get both.
So you get both for $5, and the hat's $35.
Oh, okay. Nice. And if some people just want to donate, can they go on your site and just donate?
There is an option to donate directly to, and again, that's going to be all donated day of the walk on April 6th.
Nice.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, but definitely support.
Awesome.
Keep us in the loop on that.
No doubt.
We'll definitely support on that. It's my last question before I get you out of here.
Okay.
Preparing the meals for Thanksgiving, Christmas, underway. What goes into that?
A lot of planning. So if you know you're initially, if you know you're going to be underway, you need to get all those things on the ship you will want to prior to you leaving home port. So like the turkeys, the tom turkeys, the items that you might not be able to get when you are in theater. You might want to have those on board already, like your hams, your turkeys, steamship round. That's all things you need to put in orders for prior to leaving. And they might have a lead time. So you had to put that in perspective.
Because what if you don't get it, then you're doing a RAS.
Right. So you're going to have to order it and have it, during a RAS brought to you when you're in theater.
High level planning.
You absolutely, because even for deployment, they kind of tell you what catalogs we're working out of in those different areas of constant, areas that we'll be in. So it's planning on that side. With NAFSA, they'll let you know, hey, these are the different vendors you're going to be using when you're in this area. Here's the vendors you're going to be using in this area. So if you know you're going to be in this area, you need to ensure that your food service module has these catalogs so you can order from. And that's what we use for everything.
It'd be like April. We getting ready to go underway. Y'all already thinking about cranberry.
Yeah.
Come on,
yeah. I'm just saying, man. I like that
but
cranberry.
sometimes you have to think like that because you don't know what you're. I think like that. You have to have that forward thinking because you don't know what's going to be available when you get there. Yeah. You might not get that RAS, so you might need to leave.
Well, you leave it.
All right,
some people looking for cranberry sauce.
That's me, like you said. Everybody is me. That's me.
That is me.
Need the cranberry.
Something like that. Yeah, you definitely need to think about it.
Putting the cranberry sauce on what? Greens or something?
On the dressing.
Yeah.
Come on, man. No.
I drink cranberry juice. I ain't never had a sauce.
Yeah, you throw the sauce on the dressing.
The gel.
I get you. It look like jelly, but it ain't jelly.
It ain't all the way there.
It got a tart taste. That's why I can't eat it like that.
But you drink it.
That's different on alcohol. Yeah, with alcohol.
That's not what you said.
Yeah, that's with alcohol. That's with alcohol. So building up to it, on average, like how many turkeys have you cooked out to sea?
So I was on LPD when I did it at sea. Whew. Turkeys. Okay, so we probably did 20 turkeys. Then we had the turkey rolls for when we ran out of the turkeys, like the tom turkeys.
Yeah.
You're going to have one of those as a display, so you're already losing one. Then you got to think about, is that even going to be enough? And you have the hams. You have your steamship round. We probably needed one of those.
And you still cooking
absolutely
normal meals.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So you just have to plan it all out. Like we would start putting those turkeys in the oven, depending on the meal hour. You might be putting those in like 4:00 in the morning. starting, because it's going to take so much time to cook them.
That's on an LPD scale. I wonder, like on a carrier, I was saying people that you talk to, you gotta.
They're starting.
Do you dedicate a certain like area to cook, like the war room, the chief's mess, or the mess that like mainly?
Well, we did. Even on the baton, LHD, a lot of things that we had to cook in mass production, we might cook it in the bake shop, vice utilizing inside the galley, because the bake shop, they didn't cook everything they needed to cook at night. Right. Them pies been baked off, so we putting everything in the ovens in the bake shop while everything else is going, while all the other galleys are cooking, because those aren't going to be utilized.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. I think y'all are trying to notch up the PSs right now, don't mind. I'm gonna get a PS guest. Then I can tell a different story then. But right now, y'all really notching up there. Like,
all I'm gonna say is they have hours of operation. We don't.
Ooh.
We don't.
Oh, you right. Well, that's a fact.
Just saying.
That's a
no
fact.
disrespect. I know my admin warrants and everybody coming in my neck, but y'all do have hours.
Now, if you don't get paid on the with that 1st and the 15th, don't say, "Hey, I ain't got nothing to do with that." Yeah, but nah, that's a lot, and that's just the meat side of it. But you still prepping.
You still prepping the sides and everything.
Else. Mm-hmm. How is it different? Like on a shore command, the same thing, but
you still got to prep.
Still prepping. But you don't get enough people to show up. Just say like on the Thanksgivings, because I know some sailors don't want to come to the galley. But y'all need to probably do is let them come eat for free. I know it's gonna be hard to do, but seriously, you got to think they're the sailors that they living in the barracks. They come into the galley on this day, not because they got duty. They're away from their families. They're away from their families. So, and again, I don't control funding. That's y'all area,
right?
But it should be. I know somebody should be able to say, you know what, let's donate to this thing, because to let these sailors at every base, no matter what service we talking about, if you on base, you should eat for free on them certain days, because you're coming together as a family because you're not with your family.
True.
That's the only reason why I think that way. So, yeah, I mean, I know you got to pay the bills. I get it.
We
I ain't taking that away, but it's just I just think that way. Like when them sailors, because just think about. And some sailors' first tour, they overseas. They overseas. Not we ain't talking about, I'm from Philly. Yeah, I'm in Hawaii for my first, Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. But there's some cats that's in Japan, Spain. Some sailors just first came in the Navy and they're like, wow, we getting underway on Thanksgiving and Christmas time?
Right.
Yeah, that's how it rolls. Now sometimes you get lucky and say, well, we'll be home for Thanksgiving, but we're going to be going for Christmas. And the New Year, don't even worry about that.
Let's go.
Let's go. So, and then those bases that y'all have overseas, the galleys that y'all have overseas, like, those people still cooking on them days. Like, they don't stop. Like, it's still going on. Like, them CSs, man, y'all are so special. Bro, I thank you for coming out, doing what you do, speaking on, your brand. Staying, please. Look up the website. Please mention the website again.
All right, it's Mustang 24/7. Excuse me, Mustang Life 24/7.company.suite.
There you go.
We're gonna have it at the bottom.
Yeah, we'll have it. We'll show it out there.
Go to his YouTube.
Yeah, it's on there. Go to my YouTube. Mustang Facebook, Life is on there.
All of that. Support the cause, and that's what we're supposed to do. We all serve together. We break bread together. We got to support one another at the same time. So please jump out there, get at it. In the month for multiple sclerosis, that
March.
Even though you can wear it any other month, don't get confused.
Yeah.
But March is, the day. Get your hat, represent, show love and support. But thanks for coming through, man. Telling your story.
Thank you for having me.
I know you come from the land of the gators and the pimp suits, but
matter of fact, now you bring that one last Duffs.
The Buffs, man.
Buffs.
You
Okay,
always say this wrong.
What's the Buffs, man?
Buffs, where they at?
Buffs, man?
So Buffs are Cartier glasses, but they're made from buffalo horns. So that's why we call them Buffs.
Buffs.
Yeah, we call them Buffs.
So where yours at?
I didn't bring my Buffs today. I got the wires with me today. Big C wires today.
Detroit thing.
It's a culture. There's a culture out there. Absolutely.
Oh, that's good information,
Buffs.
man.
Yeah.
I never knew that. I see the glass now when you saying it.
Yeah.
I see the glasses.
Yeah,
Everybody
they
wear
don't, you know, like I be peeping them like, okay.
Yeah.
I got them in one of my videos.
Yeah.
Like, man, take them damn glasses off.
Buffs,
Like, man, it's a culture thing.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah, that's
this
dope.
is
Every
just a
place,
thing.
every city or every town, whatever
They
you
got
come
something.
from, they have something.
Mm-hmm.
They have something. Buffs. I thought it was just what up though. You know, but
that's
more
the thing.
to it.
Yeah, it's
You
definitely
know?
more to it.
Yeah, it's more to it. So yeah, that's love, man.
What
But again,
up, though?
man, we support you. We're here
Appreciate
for you, and keep going with your YouTube channel. Like
Absolutely.
people got to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you're doing it for you inside your heart, but other people want to hear the story. You know, because it's a young CSSN that's looking at you like, yeah, I'm gonna be a FSO one day. You know,
like him.
I'm gonna be a FSO. With same inspirational goals you had, someone else is doing the same thing. So,
Absolutely.
thanks again, brother.
No doubt.
Love, man.
Yeah,
I'll take it
appreciate
easy.
you. Thanks for stopping by and sharing.